Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Zwift Community Live broadcast of the Kiss Crit series presented by CycleOps out on Watopia for the Volcano race number 10 in this 10 race series. Today, we're jumping out onto the course right from the get-go, and joining me is going to be Mr. Rasan Bahati for the men's and the women's races out here today. We got to push live over at Facebook as well as we are getting going. So welcome everybody to the Kiss Crit series. Rasan, how is it going? Riders jumping out on course for these 7 laps on the volcano. It looks like we got you in the cast. You're looking good now at this point for the racing.
Nathan, lost for a second. I'm back now.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good, Rasan. We got Rasan back, and we've got a couple of technical difficulties getting going here. We're gonna see if we can bring him in and ready to go for the racing commentary. So as soon as we bring him in, we will get going. I think he's hearing himself twice, I have a feeling. So as soon as we get that going, we will let you guys know. And we'll get a message coming in from Rasan. Let me know that he's good to go. So back in with the boys who are taking off, though, from the front end of this racing. 10 races. We're on the last race today. And the current series leader looks like he's showing up to absolutely dominate the race again. 6.3 watts per kilogram off the front. Adam Zimmerman, Team Draft, already has solidified his place in the series. So we'll have to see if he is able to put a stamp of approval on being that series leader. Pretty awesome to see Team Draft showing up in force again. Bungee attack coming there from Gardner. So good to see him hammering away off the front here. I think Rasan may be good to go. Give me a thumbs up if you're good to go, Rasan, and I will go ahead. It looks like we've got a thumbs up. All right, Rasan, let's try one more time. I'll bring you in live as soon as I hear from you. There? You good?
Yeah, can you hear me? How's that sound?
Yeah, I got you. A little bit of an echo, it sounds like, but looks like we should be good to go as we get into the ladies' race here. I'm going to jump in with the women's race here real quick and see what is happening with them. And it looks like we do have the women jumping off from the line here. Came in here, it looks like Carissa Min, 3.6 watts per kilogram currently. F. Jewett is there as well. Fidel, current, I don't believe series leaders actually. Looks like we've had a swap up of the women's leaderboard actually on the overall. So we have to jump into the zwiftpower.com, see what's happening with this leaderboard, as Laura Fidel was leading for a little while, but I believe there has been a swap of that leader's jerseys. We are seeing K-Min out there in a yellow kit, but that is not going to be the kit of the current series leader. That is the TFC kit that you do see in game. It is also yellow as well. So for the women's, we got you, Rasan. We hear you. We got you, bud. Good to see you. Good to hear you. Yeah, we hear you. It's a little bit of an echo. I'm not sure where the echo is coming from. I think maybe turn down on your computer, maybe the hearback, but that might make things a little bit difficult. So for some reason, we got a echo there, probably doubling up on the audio sources. It looks like for some reason. So it is going to be Britt Mason, though, who is currently leading in the series. And I have a feeling Britt might be taking the week off, as she does not need to join in to the race today for the women's race, as we've got, it looks like D-Kiss here going off the front there, along with Laura Fidel and Ellen Tarquino. The current series situation, though, for the women, Britt Mason here currently leading, not in the race today, as it looks like she is going to be taking the series overall, I believe, regardless of whether or not she shows up on the day. I don't believe Laura Fidel can steal that from her. Kim Beezer, though, might be able to if Kim showed up on the day. That may be the Kiss racer that we are seeing here for the cast for the race actually out on course. Now a lot of times the racers do swap up what name they are riding under here. And there's some interesting names actually out on course at this point. So we'll have to see if we do get some swap. We do see Beezer out on course. I'll look at the live results, see if we do get them going here for
Nathan. How's that
sound? Yeah, we got you, Rasan. Sounds great.
All right.
Your camera is doing a little bit of lighting on and off, but we'll work with it. That's another setting we gotta deal with. Let's just try and stay as still as possible, and I think your lighting will stay pretty good as we're going through this for some of the shadows. Good to hear you loud and clear. No echo.
Thanks.
Good to go.
Thanks.
I think
Sorry
learning
for the
software,
technical difficulties.
You're good. I think learning the software on the fly maybe has been, maybe it'll ingrain it though a little bit for.
I thought I was pretty tech savvy, but I guess I'm not.
No, you're good, dude. You're good. It's complicated software for sure. We may be bringing the audio source right now through your camera. That may be also why we were getting the echo, just so you know. So in the audio settings there, maybe just make sure that the camera is off and the mic only is on, and that would maybe change things up for you. So looking forward here toward the men's race, though, as we do have Casey Shum on the front end of this bike race right now. 4.8 watts per kilogram. McCabe here now 2.4 watts per kilogram. Gardner's there as well, 5.4 riding for Sakari here. And Gardner here coming out of Iowa, I believe. Rasan, is this a rider that you're familiar with, actually? Gardner, I know that you've raced on the pro scene and the elite scene.
No, it's not a name that I'm familiar with, but you have to remember, Nathan, I've been kind of removed from the pro scene for about 3 to 4 years now. So there's a lot of new guys that are kicking butt and taking names that I'm not 100% familiar with, but I'll definitely keep an eye out for them.
Yeah, definitely. I think Gardner may be one of those. We'll have to take a look and see it. Now, I am seeing this is a rider we're going to need to pay attention to today. We had this earlier in the European Crit Series where there were a couple of riders that were right on the edge of that top 10, right? And only the top 10 get an invite. Oh, excuse me, top 5. Excuse me. We're not looking at top 10 here. Top 5 get an invite to the live final. So Gardner here is sitting in 10th place. Now, I'm not sure he can make the jump, though. It's only 20 points. And so the top 5 right now, Eric LaSalle, Justin Pierre-Ficati, Casey Shum, Spencer Segerbrook, and Adam Zimmerman. Michael Podzaline, though, is sitting in 6th place, and the Big E is there as well in 7th. Not sure, though, even with a win out there, you know, I think maybe the 5th place might be within a threat there, depending on what kind of results E or Podzaline have had. We're looking at 113 and 108 for Big E there. So perhaps if they drop off their worst race, we might be able to see a change up here. And the cool thing about zwippower.com is they actually show in the live results for the riders that are in the race right now, it actually shows you what their places have been in the series so far. So if you open up the men's live results right now, and we look at Podzaline, and we can see he's got a 4th, a 6th, 11th. That 11th place, if he were to win today, right? So he would drop off an 11th place and gain 11 points, I believe that is then, toward the series, right? So Podzaline with 11 points in the series, if he's able to grab that, now that's a big if, I think, on the day, but if he is able to grab 11 points, Podzaline would be able to hop over Eric LaSalle if LaSalle were not to gain more than 1 or 2 points today, I believe it is. Or it could be a tie even if he grabs that 11 points. Very close race, actually, for 5th place right now in the overalls. Justin Pierre-Ficati, 123 points right now. He currently also is within threat for Michael because 11 points obviously will put him over 123. Pierre-Ficati has to get a solid result as well, it looks like. Big E, I'm not sure he's going to be able to grab too much here. I'm going to take a look at the overalls here. He's a good ways back, 108 points currently. Can he gain 20 points would be the question on the day. Big E, I'm not seeing. Is that James McCabe then? I'm not sure it's James McCabe. No, McCabe is out there. Big E from Team Draft. Chris Olsen, perhaps? Andrew Walter. This is where we always give this pushback on the names in game. Hey, Big E, who is? That's the question. Who is Big E? Who is this person? Is it the MO? Is it the Casey? I mean, who is? You never know who these riders are. So we're looking at the points, you guys. And I got pushback from Team Draft last week, and I was like, maybe we should have some rules about this or that with not having the right names. Do you see why the names matter, you guys? We have no idea who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So
maybe instead of the flags, we need real faces next to the names. We
just
need
put
real
a face.
Live faces.
You just take a selfie. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, exactly.
So looking through, I probably have Twitch chat blowing up at me. Well, we'll just tell you over here. Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. But we don't always have a Twitch chat open. So Eric Sorensen, as I'm being told, is who we are looking at here for the overalls here. And I'm looking through for Eric actually in the live results. I'll see if I can find the name there. And if I do, we'll be able to figure out whether or not he has a chance for the overalls. I am seeing Mr. Lavelle is out there. Spencer Sagerbrook is out there as well. We're seeing the cake is a lie. Nathan Wentz, Eugene Chan is out there. Good to see him. Chris Olsen, hammered away. Farron Ryan is out there. So huge pack of riders, as we can see, according to SwiftPower.com here. And they've all shown up to try and grab some points. We'll have to see if any exchanges do take place. Currently sitting in third overall is going to be Lemire. He coming from Team QC out of Canada. I don't think that the man Big E has shown up perhaps, though, on the day. I think he's taking the week off because I'm not seeing him in the live results. And according to that, it looks like he is not going to be able to challenge then the overalls for the week here, which we were chatting about, that top 5. So it's only going to be the man here for these top 5 positions. Podzaline is going to be able to pull anything off for this top 5 position. So Pierre Ficati and LaSalle probably going to be watching pretty closely for what Podzaline is up to on the day, as he, I believe, has shown up on the day here today. Now, I believe he might be a little tired, though. He's been racing a lot. Podzaline, out of all the riders here out on Zwift, has been very, very active in the past couple of days here. I'm not sure he's going to have a whole lot left in the tank after so many efforts here. Team Experimental, Podzaline, how many days in a row are you able to race there for these crits and stay fresh there, Rasan?
If you go back to like the Super Week days, you're talking 22 days of bike racing, and typically I needed 1 to 2 days off. So I had a good solid 8 days in me before I needed a break. I would say these Zwift races are very similar because the efforts are that hard. So, if I was in this competition, I would say I could go maybe 4 or 5 days before I'll take a break, and I would need a couple days before I come back and make sure that I'm fresh and not overdoing it. Because if you go out too hard towards the end, for instance, like this race where all the marbles are on the line, you could be really fatigued and then you could really be out of it.
Yeah, Podzaline, I think maybe a little tired today. We'll have to see, though, if he can pull something off here. Shum is in the race, probably in support of Podzaline if he is out there racing today, and we do see him. He currently has the Volcano Course climb, actually. Fastest climb for his warm-up, it looks like, here with the long hair out on Zwift. As you can see, Podzaline's avatar, hammered ways, has some ride-ons coming down. Casey Shum right next to him in full support. But the teams that are going to be watching out for this rider, not wanting him to grab too many points on the day, we are going to be having Kennedale 4i out there with Eric Lasselle, as well as Justin Pierre Ficati's team ODZ. Now, Pierre Ficati might not have known that Podzaline was creeping up on him in points, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure that Pierre Ficati has shown up in defense here. I'm going to double check the live results and make sure. But I am not seeing a Team ODZ name
I haven't seen
the
him.
live results.
I do see Pozline for sure.
Yeah, Podline's showing up for sure here. I'm not sure I'm seeing Pierre Ficati on the day, so we'll see. Now, it would have to be a win, though. It would have to be a win, though, for Podline really to grab that. Or a second place could tie things up for him in the overall and still bump him up and over the top of the man LaSalle. But LaSalle, strong rider, 4th, 5th, 3rd, 4th, 4th, 2nd, and 3rd. So if he gets better than 5th place today, LaSalle is able to grab a couple of points. So if he gets 3rd or better, I believe it is 3rd or better. Let me just double check this really quickly, but I believe if he gets 3rd or better, LaSalle will be able to get out of reach or at least tie. So he has to get
Nathan,
2nd. Yeah, go ahead.
If there was a tie, how do they decide the tiebreaker?
I have no idea. They've been talking about throwing a wild card into the final. Maybe that's the wild card. Okay. I don't know. Who knows? I'm not sure. Maybe that's the wild card. How do they decide a tie? That's a great question. A lot of times it's the last best result or the most wins. Those are the two ways that a lot of times you decide those kinds of things is, all right, who had the best result last or who had the most wins. I'll have to double check the rules that may already be in the rules. Actually, I would be really surprised if it wasn't in the rules and I just haven't read them as much as I should. So we'll double check this real quick here and see if I can find something in the rules. I'm probably being yelled at like crazy by the admin. Let me know all of the exactness of the rules right now. But we'll just double check them real quick here and see if we can find out exactly, according to the race description, what the rules are about a tie. I'm going to check the KISS CC as well here. KISS.races.cc might be able to help us out with that, but I'll see if there's something in the... so it's going to tiebreaker is best last time head-to-head. That's what I figured, Trix. Okay, so yep, CS Trix is letting us know the last best ahead. So actually, here's how it goes. Let's say LaSalle gets 2nd or 3rd. No, excuse me, 3rd today, and ties it up, right? And Podline wins and is able to tie it up with him. So 3rd from LaSalle, 1st place from Podline. Podline still wins because that was the best head-to-head, the last best head-to-head. If it ends up in that tie, I'm not sure I got the exact places exactly right. I'm going to try and get those down completely here. So if Pod ties, he wins because his only chance to tie is if he beats LaSalle. Yep, exactly. Trix, you're right on. Exactly. So we'll see if oh man, it's all on the shoulders of Pods today. And we've got Team Experimental, as usual, out in force here to support their team member. One of the longest standing teams. Rasan, did you know that Team Experimental was one of the first teams, I think, one of the first official teams to launch for racing out on Zwift?
I did not. Yeah, there's been a lot of conversation around the cycling community about online teams and whatnot. So I think having that as a fact is pretty cool. So being that they're going to be, one of the first, if not the first, and I think by the end of this year, you're going to see a lot more teams within Zwift because, like I said, I have a little ear to the ground in Southern California, and there's been a lot of talk about clubs joining Zwift and having their own kind of race leagues and stuff like that.
That's awesome. Very cool. Super excited about that. And Team Experimental, the first kit in game, they adopted actually the Alienware kit that you do see on the rider here, who may be just borrowing it for the day. Obviously anybody can ride it, but a lot of times in game, it is Team Innovation that does use the Alienware kit now after Team Experimental got their own kit in game. So as you can see, the Team Experimental kit does look a lot like the Alienware kit, as they wanted to stay kind of on original brand, but went their own direction a little bit with it. Now I am seeing up toward the front here. Is this a ODZ rider, Jay Brown, hanging out in the pack here in an ODZ kit, actually, but no Purificati on the day. I was just double checking just to making sure that we didn't miss Mr. Purificati at all out there, just to make sure that he is absent from the day. But it's gonna have to, I mean, there's a lot of riders out here, right? I mean, a lot of really strong riders. Adam Zim is out there.
Pretty big. Yeah.
The group's really big.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy's got to beat a lot of riders, right? I mean, Podzaline has a huge effort in front of him. Have you been in this kind of situation before where you've got this massive pack, it's down to 2 points or 1 point, you got to beat this guy and the rest of the pack in order to hit that first place?
Absolutely.
What kind of pressure does put on your shoulders?
Yep. You know, to be honest, I've been in this situation 3 times, and all 3 times I was able to come out on top. And it really does put a lot of pressure on you. And I think the champion in you come out. One particular time I was up by 1 point, and the next 2 guys were only spread out by 2 points. They could have literally tag teamed me and took the jersey away from me. But you become superhuman at one point in the race, and you just like cover this move, cover that move, because you are the leader. And when you have it in you, sometimes I think your heart take over, and it's not really about your legs anymore. You know, it's just a determination. So I think you're going to see that today, actually.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Podzline's able to become superhuman out on course today. You know, there is that riding beyond yourself where you literally find yourself in a new, almost beyond the pain space where you didn't know you could hurt that bad in a place that your skin, and it's almost beyond your skin, and the pain is almost coming outside of your body. It feels like that you've gone into because you had to chase something and you knew it had to happen now, no matter what. It's almost that adrenaline rush that you hear of when there's something catastrophic going on in front of you and you need to just do something about it. There has to be a response no matter what. I think we can get that in racing sometimes with the amount of pressure that comes onto us to make that happen. And those are some serious breakthrough moments in racing and your ability to perform, but also the responses I think you get in your body going to that next level tells you can go there again later as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, you just laid the foundation for your next level of threshold, your next level of commitment and hurt and pain. You didn't, like you say, you didn't know you can go that hard. You didn't know you can hold, 35 miles an hour for 2 minutes, but you just did it, and now you can do it again. So yeah, it's those incremental gains that you get from pushing yourself outside of your limits, exactly how you explained it.
Did you find that in your racing then as well, Bahati, like after a huge race like that, the gains that were building on each other and you got faster and faster?
Yeah. That's why it's so important to finish every race that you start. All the guys that I work with, young and old, never drop out, because dropping out does you no good, unless you're just so far off the back or whatnot. But if you can just hang on, and just hang on for dear life and finish with the field or finish with a group, that's an incremental gain that you wouldn't have gotten if you dropped out of the race. So I'm a true believer in finishing the races, because it keep pushing you to the next level. And then in Europe, I mean, it's just a whole nother level. You go over there from America, and holding on is going to bump you up 3 different levels. So when you come back home to the U.S., you're going to be that much better. So definitely hold on.
Yeah, gotcha. So, and I love that. Finish every, race that you start in order to get that experience out of it. So looking here for the women's race now as we jump back over here. The men's race has calmed down quite a bit here, it looks like. Everybody's kind of looking at each other. There's a lot on the line today, it looks like, for a couple of riders. And I have a feeling there's a lot of riders who have shown up on the day in support of those riders that have so much on the line here. So we do have, though, at the front end of this race, let's take a look at the current situation within the women's top 5 for the East, because we have an interesting situation here with them. Britt Mason, obviously, Laura Fideo, Kim Beezer, but then Katrina Weiss, Beth York, and Ellen Tarquino are all right next to each other. That is your 4th, 5th, 6th, and then even 7th place with Rachel Blair who has 7 races in. But Ellen Tarquino in sixth place only has 6 races. She gets whatever she gets across the line today. There is no taking away her best result. Whatever she gets to the line today, she gains in points. So Tarquino had to show up today and had to throw down an effort. So Ellen here really has a lot to gain getting across the line here, at least within, let's see here. So she's currently sitting at 110 points. She has to get, I believe it is 16th or better in order to bump up 4 points and tie Beth York for 5th place. And then she has to beat Beth on the day. So, or obviously the amount of women in the lead group here, there's only 11 actually. So she at least has to stay with this group, and then, and she will bump up above, assuming no one gains any points. Now Beth can gain some points. She's got a 3rd, a 1st, and a 2nd. Katrina Weiss is out there with 2 wins and a 3rd. So they can gain some points, but they're going to have some solid results today in order to do so. Now, I have a feeling, though, for Katrina as well as Beth and Ellen, that there are a lot of races that they can drop off, actually. Katrina Weiss, she's got an 8th, a 7th, a 5th, and a 6th. Any kind of podium finish in the top 3 is going to get her a solid amount of points today. We're also looking at Beth with a 6th and a 7th and an 8th. Anything above those is going to get her a solid amount of points. Well, at least a few points to put some distance between herself and Ellen. But Ellen, with the amount of points she can gain just by finishing with this lead group, is about 9 to 10 points. And that's well within the 4 to 6 I think she needs. These women are going to need a 1st place. They're going to need these top podium positions, while Ellen does not finish very well. I think there's a little bit of writing on the wall, and there's going to have to be some serious breakaway, somehow cause Ellen to completely fall apart out there today in order to try and hold on to those spots there. It's going to be very difficult because Ellen is a very strong rider too. We've seen some amazing efforts from her out there. We're seeing a 2nd, a 2nd, a 1st, a 3rd, a 3rd, and a 5th. That's her worst races. So if she stays on point with what she tends to do, the worst she's done is around a 15-pointer. So it's going to be tough on those girls today, I think. So looking through here for the men's race, then I do have, it looks like, though, real quick here, we'll get right back in with the women for what the current situation is for the battles, but there are a couple of attacks going off the front. Davis, though, our buddy, who tends to have the homework in here, is trying to get away, though, it looks like, along with Knight and Reed, actually. A couple of early attacks here coming from R. Knight. Now, R. Knight, I'm not super familiar with, actually, as a rider out on Zwift here. Interesting to see newer riders jumping into the races here. And Ryan Knight, Ryan for C3 2020, actually, which is a very popular road team. 2020, you know all about that team. I would think they were signed. It used to be 2016, and then they changed up the branding going toward 2020, I would assume.
Oh, yeah, if that's the same program, yeah, really good program. Nicola runs that program. They have some very good sponsors. I won't name them.
I think it might be. I'm not positive. No, it says C3 2020 in the name. So
that'd be really cool. Yeah, that'd be really cool.
So
they also have a development program with kids, and they teamed up with Roy Nickman and his junior program. If we're speaking of the same people and the same club and the Lux program, so yeah, big advocate for junior development and whatnot. So could be this Knight guy. Maybe we'll find out through Twitch channel.
Yeah, so Ryan Knight, Michael Hoffman, Jeremy Burkhart, Dan Miller, Scott Boyce, I'm seeing all riding for the C3 2020 Cycle Riders, actually. So I'm going to see if there's a little bit of about us for them. I'm not seeing anything from them just yet, but looking at the ages, though, it is Masters, Veteran, and 50 plus here. So perhaps
that's not them.
So maybe just associated. I'm not sure. Maybe the ages are
possibly
incorrect. But looking through here, we'll have to see if Twitch chat is going to be able to help out with this. So we're looking through here. Mike Davis kit doesn't fit right. Is he working on that or no? Wait, what's going on here? So do you know about this chat that's going on through here? I'm not sure what they're chatting about there. Interesting about the Mike Davis
I don't know what they're chatting about. Right. I'm gonna have to go over there. And Mike Davis ignored me today. I needed some some glue for my wheels so I can get back on the track. And yeah, he just ignored me. He didn't even respond.
Oh, come on now, Davis. So what's going on here, Mike? We're gonna have to. We're not gonna ignore him now. Now we're gonna give him some extra. We're gonna give him some extra ribbon here on the day, and make sure that make sure that he glued his tires on so that he can get across the line. No, and as well as maybe lock the door so the dog doesn't take out the computer here. But we do see Zimmerman here. This is your current series leader for the men's situation. He is got this lockdown, unchallengeable for the overall. But Casey Shum as well locked it down. He's out on the race here, so he's going to be in full support of Pods, though, to try and get him across the line before LaSalle. Now, LaSalle, I think, is out there with Team QC, probably supporting him a little bit, also being out of Quebec. There are quite a few, I think, out of Canada. They're supporting Eric Foley to try and get him into those top spots. I have a feeling that's why Yannick is out there as well today with the 104 points, 7 races in. Not quite as consistent as Eric, probably supporting Eric out there today, I would think. Yannick, though. But now they are heading into the last couple of laps here, and we do see Kay Leonard here from Innovation making his way forward. It's going to be Zimmerman there with the yellow jersey there. Gardner coming out of Iowa, making his way to the front of this. But Team Draft is out here in force. Definitely in support, I would think, of Zimmerman. They are donning that yellow jersey and most likely in full defense of it, I would think. There's a lot of bragging rights being series leader, I would think, out there, Rasan. And, you know, even if you're not, even if you've got it all locked down, taking the W with that leader's jersey on always feels good, I would think. So looking through here, we are seeing Go Mike Schwartz there coming. GD, VC, and Madison, Wisconsin Power actually coming from Lee Prouty. So great commentator. Ramen No Rice is saying, as well as Toby Yarbrough saying, when is Zwift HQ going to start their own team? Actually, Zwift HQ does show up once in a while with their own riders in the game, actually. So Rasan, are you going to read that up? Like, what's going on here? Where's the Zwift HQ team? What's happening?
Yeah, it should be coming pretty soon. There's a lot of talks about having a Zwift HQ team. I tell you what, there's some really good riders in the office in Zwift itself. So I don't know, maybe sometime next year. We have a lot of things on the table that we're focusing on right now, but I would say in the very near future, we'll have a team.
That'd be awesome. That would be really cool to see if we could get a Big Z team out on course there. You guys have to have your own kit, or I don't know. Now, should we have your own kit? Maybe we just use the in-game Big Z kit. We'll have to see. But 189 beats per minute there. Jay McCabe there. Working hard for the team, it looks like, for Team Draft. Now, for the women, though, we are seeing Ellen on the attack, actually, on the front end. And she has the most to gain. Top 5 amongst the men and the women from the East and the West are the ones that will be going to the live final or have the ticket punched and get the invite to the live final. We are seeing Tarquino here, 4.2 watts per kilogram, letting us know she's showed up to race. Now, other names we're watching out for as well on course for the women, obviously, is going to be Kim Beezer, who is currently in the top 5 right now for the women's overall in the Kiss Crit series. Britt Mason didn't show up in the day, but Kim Beezer third. Britt Mason current leader. Flora Fidel. Again, the situation with Rachel Blair, Ellen Tarquino, Beth York, and Katrina Weiss is the battle that is taking place here. There is another one. I think Rachel Blair, though, we take a look at the overall for the series. We may be wanting to watch out for her as well, as she has an 11th that she can drop off on the. If she were to win, that would be 10 points. Now, Rachel Blair would have to take a W. She has not won yet so far. She's taken a 3rd place during the series. Britt is not here today. That does open up a couple places, right? So Rachel Blair with an 11th, as we can see, according to ZwipPower.com, if she were to take down a W, and get 10 points. That would put her at 115 points, just over Beth York as well. And then Ellen most likely jumping in the top 5 as well. We'll see how that ends up playing out. We could have 2 swaps actually at the bottom end of the race. So Katrina and Beth have it all on the line here. See if we can find those avatars out on course here and see how they're looking for the day. Katrina currently 171 beats per minute, but the wattage 170, 140, playing very smart it looks like, not allowing herself to fall behind top 3 out here today. Now Beth York here as well. Get well Rachel hashtag out there. If you guys did not know, that is a hashtag going all over the place in the communities of Zwift right now, as the well-known Rachel Elliott has been having has some health issues going on, and lots of prayers, lots of thoughts, and good vibes going out to her today in support of her. She was chatting actually earlier today in
I was gonna say feed. That, yeah. Yep, I saw her saying, she's much appreciating all the love. So I'm sure everyone's wishing her the best. So get well, Rachel.
Yeah, that was really cool actually to see. You don't know how bad things are sometimes. With the way the reports come through, and you're like, oh, that doesn't sound great and all this stuff. But to see her in there and chatting and watching the broadcast earlier during the KISS Europe race was really great to see. And I think it was really encouraging to the whole community to see that actually. So good to see her chiming in.
It also goes to show you how cool this whole platform is. I watched it earlier today while I was working. I knew that the race was coming on and wanted to hear you chat it up and see the race, see how I was going to finish. And then to see her chime in while she's going through such a difficult time was it kind of just epitomized what great platform we have. Even though it's virtual, it's still bringing people together, so I think that's really cool.
And that's what it's really all about. I mean, we've got a serious competition here. There can be a lot of contention. I'm gonna beat you. Get to the line first. I'm gonna win this thing and all that stuff going on.
You have to have that.
You got to have that, exactly. But at the end of the day, when the dust settles, the community is what's there, right? In every single race community, it's like that. Absolutely. That's what ends up being there. What we show up for, the bettering ourselves through the competition, the thankfulness for our competitors that we should have, because they're the ones. If they didn't show up, I wouldn't be any stronger, right? I'm so thankful for every single one of the competitors I ever raced against, even the ones I didn't get along with, because if I didn't have them there, I wouldn't be who I was. They are the ones who sharpened me, right? Absolutely. Right along with my determination to push, just like their determination to push. And so it's really cool, the community that we have out here that's been developing through this virtual world. So Beth, though, that we're looking at here, has a lot on the line today. We're currently seeing her very calm, 150 beats per minute. Katrina, a little bit higher in the heart rate. Maybe Beth here going to try and bunny hop a little bit. Where is Beth at, though, for the points is the question. Her worst is an 8th. If she could gain 5 points and solid. I think she'd be solid maybe at that point. 5, if she gets into that first, second, or third, I think that's a good chance. Now, it all depends on what Katrina is able to do today. It depends on what Ellen throws down. Rachel Blair as well, what she can throw down. But those are the 4 we're definitely be watching out here in the women's race for sure. Also, we do want to give a shout out to Chris Amin. She's got a lot to gain in the day as well. 13th is her worst race. If she were to get into the podium, she could gain a solid 10 points in the series, actually. And,
13th is her worst race, and 13th is my best race.
So when did you race? What was your race, Rasan? Which race were you in?
This was a couple weeks ago. I did a WBR race, and I couldn't crack a top 10. I was sprinting for 9th, and then a few guys.
We got to take a look at this guy's trainer. There must be something wrong with your trainer, or I don't know what's going on here.
I sometimes I'm starting to think so, man. I watched the live feed from Kevin Little, and he rides just like me.
Kim Little.
Kim Little, yeah. And I'm like, that's about the same RPMs I ride at, and I'm not crushing it like the way I it. So, yeah, maybe it's time to about this Wahoo kicker for a new one.
So if you do race, Rasan, we got to actually, I know you're going to do some racing, but we're gonna jump into a race together and do it live. That's the plan. We're gonna do a ZCL cast. I'll put on a special. It'll just be the commentators versus the field. That's what the plan will be. The commentators versus the field, all in, and we'll see what we can do. We're gonna have everybody show up just looking to whoop on us, dude. I just put us on the chopping board for a world of pain, I think, actually. But
I better make sure my trainer works because I already get a lot of pain. Now you're just opening the door for more pain.
Yeah, well, it's good for us. All right, we got a little distracted there, though. We definitely have the final lap going here. We've been chatting all over the place. We had a couple technical difficulties up front, so apologies, guys. We've been a little bit distracted. We've also been talking a lot about the points as we are into the final here. This is going to be it. I didn't realize how close we were to this last lap. Now, it's been a very calm race, though, to give us a little bit of benefit there. Yep. I mean, they've been really just looking at each other a lot because I think there's so much on the line today. So I have a feeling it's been very calm for a reason. They want to save it all for this sprint. Now, Podzaline, this is the rider that we've been talking about all the way through. Shum is starting to lead it out here, as you can see. Knight is going very early. Mike Davis going from way out, actually. 8.8 watts per kilogram. I'm not sure he's going to be able to hold on to that. Here's Casey Shum. He's probably wondering where his teammate is at. Where's Podzaline? Shum hanging on to 7 watts per kilogram, leading things out. I think he's trying to close it down, actually, to make sure that the break doesn't get too far away, making sure that Knight and Davis don't get more than that 2 seconds so that Podzaline can come around at the last moment. He just has to make sure the group continues to go fast enough for Podzaline to launch off the front. Now we're starting to see the 10 watts per kilogram. Here we go. This is the ramp up to the line. Where is the man?
It's a tough finish to the line.
Oh my goodness, here they go. Jay McCabe.
To the line is so heavy.
Look at this. Where is Podzaline? McCabe, 9 watts per kilogram, Rasan. I'm not seeing him. 2 seconds. There's only 200 meters to go.
Podzaline is about 10 riders back. Yep.
So with 10 riders back, where's Zimmerman? Here comes Zimmerman, but here comes Sagerbrook. Sagerbrook to the line, and it's going to be Sagerbrook, Zingerman, Lemire. That's the finishing order. Podzaline takes 5th. He tried. He really tried. You could see it. He wanted it so bad. But Rasan,
a little bit too far back, yeah.
You think it was just too far back? Let's take a look real quick here.
A little bit too far back, and this finish is I like to call it heavy. You know, it's not super steep or anything, but it really wears on you. So, man, I mean, from the time Mike Davis threw that attack, they really had to get going and chase that guy down.
Yeah, we're looking through here, and it looks like Sagerbrook took it off after Zimmerman. Lemire's there. McCabe is there. I don't even see Podzaline in the last 50 meters in right there. Now he shows up. He showed up just a tad too late. It was just a little bit too late of a jump, I think. And you can see here, he does end up, as you can see, what am I seeing here? It looks like Sagerbrook, followed by Zimmerman, Lemire, then Podzaline, Lascelles right behind him. He had to beat him by 2, I think. I think Podzaline had to, well, so what did he end up in? 4th? And Lemire, or Lascelles, excuse me, in 5th. I don't think that makes a change. He did get the win for the last W, or not the win, but he ended up with the better head-to-head. But I don't think he finished high enough in the overall series. We'll have to wait and see for the official results. I'm not calling that just yet, but I have a feeling it's still going to be the same as it was with Lascelles sitting in 5th. League has been updated according to James Hodges, actually. So let's take a look here. He's going to give us what is the preliminary finals here. And it looks like Spencer Sagerbrook, Adam Zimmerman, Yannick Lemire, Podzaline for 4th, Eric Lascelles 5th for the results. Frederick Ballou coming in for 6th, M. Moen, followed by Matt Gardner, Ryan for Sakari, Robert Geranagilo, and then Casey Shum for 10th. Now, but the league results have been updated. Let's go ahead and take a look at those. So it looks like we've got Podzaline. He did gain a solid amount of points, but it's only within 2. So it's going to be Eric LaSalle, Justin Pierre-Ficati, Casey Shum, Spencer Sagerbrook, Adam Zimmerman, currently in first place. That's from 5th to 1st right there. So solid efforts, almost there. Just need a couple more points up ahead. A little bit early attack, or maybe he just ran out of steam.
Early move, yeah. I think the early attack caught him off guard. I think he was in a decent position to work his way through the field for the sprint, but I think the early attack spreaded it out, made it a little thin, and so maybe he was sitting 10th place, and once the attack hit, he was more like 15th place. So, those 5 positions was everything. He ended up finishing 4th. If he was 4 riders ahead, maybe he's top 3 or even going for the win. So, I just felt like he got caught off guard there.
Yeah, I think that whole idea of I'm well positioned, but then how well is your position when it's strung out like that? That's bike lengths you have to make up. Yeah. Every meter matters in that sprint, right? And so he might have been in a good position as far as the number goes, but with it getting so spread out so early, the pack isn't bunched, and you got to make up all that space once you start that sprint going there. So I think
exactly
the timing there maybe just too long of a sprint. Maybe he's more of a kicker and was unable to close it down.
It's a tough one too. Yeah, it's a tough sprint. It's not dead flat. Had to put out a lot of watts, and you saw on the European series and now the North American series that the guys who are winning this race are putting out some pretty beefy numbers.
For sure. Now we got into the women's race, and lots of cheers coming through for them. I am seeing Giannis Denning as well as Angela Webster coming through. Go Katrina, go Beth, go Dixie, and then Giannis coming through for Ellen as well. Lots of cheering going on here for the women's races. They head into their final lap here. There is definitely some points on the line. Ellen Tarquino has to finish here within this group, or at least get across the line. I think she can still get across the line behind this group, but I think she needs to be looking out to beat Katrina and Beth on the day here. So Beth here definitely going to be looking and following every move made by Ellen there, as she is one of the riders who can overtake her. They're also going to be watching out for Rachel Blair. Has Blair made this front group? It does look like, looking through, trying to find the right. Yep, she is there. The Canadian up toward the front. She's in the, it looks like 2017 Zwift Academy kit, actually, as you can see there. The Zwift Academy, for those of you who might not know, the women's program that was put together by Zwift to get one qualifier for the Canyon SRAM Pro Team, actually, both in 2016 and 2017, as well as a training program that they can all finish together. Good to see that she is out there sporting that kit. So I'd be watching out. So those are the riders to watch here. The rest of the riders kind of have their place settled. So it's all about flexing on the day, having some pride to get on the podium. But besides that, Ellen, Katrina, Beth, Rachel, all with something on the line here that they're fighting for right now in the final for the series. So it's going to be all about the sprint to the line here. This all comes down to 10 weeks of racing, best of 7 of 10 on the women's North American eCrit presented by CycleOps here. Here we go with Rachel Blair now leading out. What do you got predictions here? I predict, I'm going to stick with what's been consistent, and I think Ellen is waiting to pounce here. I think she's going to try and get away, and we've got second, first, third, and fifth. She's got 6 races. Rachel's got some podiums too, but I'm calling. Go ahead, Rasan. What are you thinking?
I'm gonna go with the coach, Coach Weiss. I know Scotty's got the industrial fan. I know she's cooling down. They probably got the baby to sleep already, and she's focused. She lost some points in some of the earlier races, so I think tonight, Coach Weiss all the way to the line.
Coach Weiss all the way to the line. You've heard it here. Rasan calling it out. We're going to see Katrina.
I'm right.
Happen. Let's see here if she can make it happen here on the day. It's going to be a tough one to the line here. 174 beats per minute. We'll see if she can throw down. Ellen continues to be at the front. Maybe just a A little bit too much of hammer time at the front there, though. Now backs off a little bit, trying to keep things fast, it seems like. But we'll see if they can hold on here to this kind of a pace. Two-tier kick to the line. All the points are on the line here. Who can get across the first is going to be the question. Laura Fidale's out there, usually able to take down some solid sprints. Ellen Tarquino as well. Will there be an upset, though, coming from Katrina Weiss, from Beth York as well? Rachel Blair as well, with a lot to win. Actually, out of all the riders out there today, the most motivated for something to gain against the other riders would be a win from Blair. I don't believe she's had one, though. On course, she's only had a best of third, but she's got the most to gain because she's the most points behind. She's got to dominate this field right now. So we are seeing
a different sort of field now compared to the men. The men had 25 riders in their group, and positioning was everything. Much smaller, intimate field here, and the women are pretty much. They can sprint from anywhere, in my opinion, in this group. So it's a very select group. This is the cream of the crop, and I think you're going to have a good finish here.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you're right on there about the finish and how it can play out here. They can go pretty much at any time that they feel comfortable with, and it's going to be all the way over the first tier. Ellen throwing down that arrow power up, as you can see already. 5.6 watts per kilogram. Beth playing very smart, sitting on that wheel to the last moment. Very tactical from Beth York here. This is going to be an upset maybe from Beth York now, all out, but here comes Laura Fidale, 8 watts per kilogram, letting us know who the sprinter is in the field. But Katrina Weiss, 8 watts per kilogram, perfectly timed. She pulled off an amazing second place finish there. What a result for Katrina. That might actually pull something off here. Let's take a quick look. I want to look at that again real quickly because I have no idea where they actually finished just now between each other in that final here. Katrina coming to the line. Where is she? She's 7 watts per kilogram. She's sitting about 5th place. There she throws that arrow power. But you see her moving her way through at this last second. 3rd place, moving into 2nd as they hit the final kick to the line. Just a little bit, about a 1% grade. Now it levels out a little bit to negative almost actually for a moment, and then kicks one more time. Katrina holds on to 8 watts per kilogram, as you can see there. And you can see that Beth, as well as I believe it's going to be Kim Beezer right on her wheel there, trying to go by. The upset result there for Katrina getting across the line, but will it be enough as Ellen gets a lot of points on the day? But what an effort there from Katrina Weiss. That might be one of her better results on the week side. That's her best in the top in these 10, I believe, actually, across the line there. Let me double check that, but I believe, according to this, her best, she had 2 wins in the first go at the series, but she's only had the best of a second, I think. Maybe it's the 2nd or 3rd, actually. So she's going to replace, oh no, it did just update. So she did just get, it looks like a 2nd now. Did just get added in there. We'll see if it is updated though, and she was able to hold on. Always, I mean, when you get done with this race, Rasan, when you get done with races like this, you're running right over that leaderboard. Like, okay, where are things at? What's happening?
Oh, yeah, you definitely want to know. I was the type of guy that knew pretty much where I stood, who was around me, and had all the points in my head. I never needed to write it on my stem or whatnot. So I'm pretty sure there's some riders out there that have it all figured out already. And possibly she was happy with a 2nd, to slide right in there. So, there are nervous times. You lay in your hotel room or in your host housing, and you're just going over point systems and who can leapfrog who and what exactly I have to do. And what if I let one person win so they can overthrow someone else and I stick my position? It can get very complicated. But, when you're doing an omnium like this with a point system, it get very interesting.
You get it all worked out beforehand. I know how it goes in the mountain bike scene. Lots of series as well in order to figure out where the points all lie, which ones I got to show up to. All that kind of stuff's going on there. I mean, completely. But Katrina, that was an important race right there. That 2nd was very important. She ends up dropping 1 place but holding on to fifth. Actually dropping 2 places, holding on. No, excuse me. No, I'm sorry. Dropping 1 place, holding on to fifth. Ellen jumps from 6th to 4th, takes over 4th place, and Beth is dropped down from 5th place to 6th. It was a battle all the way to the line. You saw it there in the final between the women there. They were all wanted those points. Beth, she was perfectly positioned, and she threw down that arrow power up after the first tier. The power just wasn't there, I think, to get to the line before Katrina and Katrina and Ellen.
It's a long
That's
way.
all it was.
Yeah, it's a very long way to use that power up so early, and then you have that 4% kicker before it kind of plateaus, and I think that's where you really want to use your power up. I'm not a power up expert, but just by looking at the finishes over the last couple weeks, I think you want to save it for that 4% upgrade or incline, so you can have that momentum going over where it plateaus. But still a good try.
Yeah, Laura Fideo there does take the win on the day. Katrina Weiss with amazing 2nd place. Great prediction coming through there from Rasan, actually. And Beth York there, Kim Beezer then for 4th. Ellen Tarquino does take 5th, which is plenty with her 7th race now to bump her up into that 4th place. So there's a change up then in the overalls, and she does end up in the top 5. Christina Pearson then for 6th. We are seeing Rachel Blair for 7th. Not quite enough to bump herself up into a top 5 position. D Dame out there for 8th place. Carissa Min for 9th, and then it will be Franny Jewett going in 10th place there. Beth right behind Katrina, 3rd place. If she were to take the win, she might have been able to bump up a little bit more and stay ahead of Katrina if Katrina was a few places back. But that was the real battle out there. That was the real head-to-head. Katrina Weiss, CIS Cycling versus Beth York's Vixen team out there. And it was Katrina who came out on top with that 2nd place. But Laura Fidel is the winner on the day. Finals all done for the East, but the West ramping up here in just about 2 hours. You gonna go race your bike, Rasan, or you all done for the week?
I may hop in. I haven't ridden my bike today. I've been working a lot, so I got a couple hours. I may hop in and get my butt kicked in the West race.
Maybe I'll have to do the same. It's all about so the West race or the East race, depending on which one we stream that week, we give that to the community. So if you're watching over on Twitch.tv right now, hit that Zwift button. Check out all those streamers who have streamed in the past and hit that follow button for them, because they're going live, a lot of them, with the West race or the East race when we don't cover it. We like to give it to the community and grow the community of streamers, as there's a lot of them out there that are streaming Zwift. Anytime I check Twitch lately, I click the Zwift game, and there's at least a couple out there streaming live almost at all times, actually. So usually we do see G Leo out there, Casey Shum, a few others out there streaming on Twitch. So definitely check out the community of streams. If you are looking to cast like we do here, throw up a stream out there. If you're familiar with it, well, check it out. We're always looking for new talent. So try and make that happen. Maybe make that happen as well. So Rasan, great racing out there. 10 weeks said and done.
It was
What's
good.
the feeling? What's the feeling like when you're done with the series like that? It's a huge relief, I would think.
Huge relief. You're ready to recover and then look for the next challenge. I think the finale here in Long Beach is going to be great. At least I think it's going to be somewhere around LA, Long Beach area. We've been looking at a bunch of different venues, and we're really looking forward to having all the racers come here and pretty much throw a big party for them while they compete for the championship.
Heck yeah. All right. Awesome. Yeah, it looks like Leo and Casey have confirmed they will be streaming the West race, it looks like. I'm seeing Casey and I will both be streaming the West. Make sure to check that out. There's a lot of battles going on in the West for the series. Real quickly here, we'll just call out the top 5 situation currently. We're seeing Scotty Weiss, Greg Leo, Brandy Melton-Tallow, Johnny Rocket, Scott Cunningham, but Tim Sullivan, 5 points behind Scott Cunningham. Frank Garcia, 6 points behind Scott Cunningham. And I think there are some points that can be gained depending on their worst races, actually. Should be watching out for that battle there in the West for the men. For the women, Jennifer Real, keeping it real at the front. Yana Gillett there as well, with 2nd place. Barb Kreisel there in 3rd currently. Team Fearless represented for 4th and 5th with Christine Culver and Catherine Sabatiera. Angela Pitzer, though, on a rise there, it looks like, with 104-point Kelsey Trinell as well, as you can see in 7th place. Absolutely awesome, actually. There's some points up for grab there. Actually, the women's West looks very, very heated right now for the final. I'd be watching out for some change-ups maybe there. And Seals, another one to be watching out for. Giannis Denning out there with only 6 races. Could gain 20 points and jump up to 108, and that would put her within striking distance of Catherine Salvatierra. There's a lot going on in the West. I would tune in for that. Greg, Leo, Casey, Shum, I think they're going to be covering that for us tonight over on Twitch. Go follow those channels over there, and let's grow the game of Zwift over on Twitch. All right, everybody. Rasan, thanks for joining us for the cast. I really appreciate it, and we'll be back then for when the live final happens. I have a feeling that we might be bringing you on in for maybe some of the live stuff, but obviously FCR next week.
Yep. Yeah, if it works out, it'd be great. All the stuff that we do live, especially like when we did stuff at the bike shop, it was great. So we'd love to do some more of that. And this stuff is actually really fun. I love it. And every time I get on, I tell you all the time, I learn a lot from just listening to you. So still learning the platform, still learning all the players, and yeah, I enjoy it.
All right, Rasan, thanks a lot. And we'll see you next time. Probably SCR Racing. Have a good night,
Nathan.
buddy. Yeah. And so
You
that
too.
was Sam Bahati coming in from SoCal. Looks like he might be jumping on the bike. We'll see if we can get him out there for the West with Greg and Casey over there. We'll see if I jump on the bike as well. Maybe I'll go live on my personal channel as well for some riding and getting into. I haven't raced a single one of the crit series actually because I'm commentating them all. Maybe the last West race is the one that I actually do. We'll have to see if we can get the kids to bed on time. I've been in the broadcast studio all day. I have a feeling it depends on whether or not the kids fall asleep. But all right, everybody, have a great night. And as always, great job to all the riders out there. Thanks to all the viewers, and ride on.